Imagine holding a piece of paper so rare, so historically significant, that it was printed before Australia even existed as a nation. Welcome back to Stamp Vault, the channel where we unlock the stories hidden inside the world's most fascinating stamps. Today, we're traveling back to colonial Australia to explore the very first stamp ever issued on Australian soil. And trust me, the story behind it is just as remarkable as the stamp itself. In the mid-19th century, the concept of a unified Australia did not exist. Instead, the continent was a vast, disconnected patchwork of separate British colonies, each operating as its own self-governing state. New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, and Van Diemen's Land managed their own borders, their own tariffs, and their own completely separate mail networks. Sending a letter across the continent was a complicated and expensive process. The system was slow, unreliable, and fragmented. A letter sent from Sydney to Adelaide in 1847 could cost more than a shilling, a massive sum for a working-class family. To make matters worse, the sender rarely paid for the delivery. Instead, the postal service relied on a receiver pays system. When a mail carrier finally arrived at a remote settlement after weeks of travel, the recipient had to pay the postage fee on the spot to receive their letter. If a struggling family or a merchant could not afford the high cost, the letter was simply returned or destroyed. This made communication a luxury, leaving families isolated and businesses paralyzed by shipping delays and unpredictable fees. For a frontier society trying to build communities across thousands of miles of rugged terrain, this inefficient postal system severed vital connections and left settlers fundamentally cut off from one another. In 1840, Great Britain established a working model to fix this administrative mess. Sir Rowland Hill introduced the penny black, the world's first adhesive postage stamp, by requiring the sender to prepay a flat rate. This new system proved that cheap, uniform mail could actually increase government revenue by encouraging a massive surge in correspondence. News of this success traveled quickly to the Pacific. Facing constant pressure from local merchants and a growing population of free settlers, the New South Wales colonial government realized its old postal practices were holding the colony back. To spur commerce and keep families connected, the administration decided to modernize. In 1848, the colonial legislature passed an act authorizing the use of adhesive postage stamps. Rather than importing stamps from London, the government decided to manage the entire process locally. Officials hired Sydney engravers to prepare printing plates and set a definitive launch date. On January 1, 1850, New South Wales officially issued its first prepaid stamps, the Sydney Views. On that same morning, the neighboring colony of Victoria released its own first stamps. This launch date transformed colonial communication, replacing old receiver pays habits with a practical system designed for a growing society. Local engravers in New South Wales designed and manufactured these small paper stamps entirely within the colony. The design featured a sweeping, panoramic view of Sydney Harbour, showcasing a bustling settlement looking out to the sea. The words Post Office and New South Wales framed the central circular image, asserting the colony's name and its growing administrative power. This first issue arrived in two distinct denominations, each serving a specific postal rate. The 1 penny value, printed in a deep, rich blue, paid the local city rate. The 2 penny value, struck in a striking rose red, covered letters traveling to inland settlements. By choosing to engrave and print these stamps locally, the New South Wales government made a clear statement of self-reliance. At a time when other British colonies relied on security printers in London to supply their stamps, officials in Sydney trusted their own local artisans. They hired local engravers to manually incise the designs onto copper plates which were then printed at the government printing office in Sydney. Each plate was hand-inked and wiped before being pressed onto damp paper under high pressure, leaving a tactile, raised impression on the surface. The central illustration depicted a busy scene at Sydney Cove, featuring a ship in the harbor and a bale of merchandise on the shore. This imagery spoke directly to the economic ambitions of the young settlement. The resulting design became an early expression of Australian identity. While most parts of the British Empire decorated their stamps with the profile of Queen Victoria, New South Wales chose to celebrate its own geography, commerce, and industry. This choice showed a colony proud of its progress and fully capable of producing its own tools of global communication. Because the colonial government printed these stamps using hand-engraved copper plates, no two of the original Sydney Views stamps are completely identical. Each of the 24 or 25 subjects on a plate had to be carved individually by hand, creating tiny, distinct details in the lines and shading. Over time, the soft copper plates wore down under the heavy pressure of the printing press, causing later print runs to look increasingly pressure-worn and noticeably fainter. Philatelists call these repeating physical design variations plate varieties. But the plate itself was only one variable. The printer's touch changed everything. Senders used stamps, printed with different ink pressures and small color shifts, ranging from intense, dark blues to pale, milky shades. For collectors, tracking these microscopic shifts turns each stamp into a forensic puzzle. The value of a Sydney View today rests heavily on three main factors. First is condition, which refers to the overall physical state of the stamp, its paper quality, the size of its margins, and whether it has survived without tears or stains. Second is the postmark, the ink cancel applied by a postal clerk to prevent the stamp from being reused. A light, clean postmark that does not obscure the central design is highly prized, while a heavy smudge can ruin the appeal. The third factor is rarity. While a heavily damaged copy might sell for a few $100s, a pristine, well-centered example with large margins and a clean postmark can easily fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Some rare plate varieties, like a block of 8 two-penny stamps, have sold for over $30,000, proving that these handmade anomalies remain a legendary, lifelong pursuit. On January 1, 1901, the 6 separate British colonies united to form the Commonwealth of Australia. This political change slowly reorganized the postal networks that had operated independently for half a century. While Federation created a unified country, the individual states kept issuing their own regional stamps for another 12 years, while the federal government organized its administration. The transition from scattered colonies to a single commonwealth required a fresh visual language. Postal imagery shifted from reflecting local provincial pride to expressing a shared national belonging. On January 2, 1913, the government released the Kangaroo and Map series, Australia's first truly national stamp issue. Featuring a red kangaroo standing on a white outline of the continent, this design replaced the last colonial stamps still in circulation. The shift in stamp design directly tracked the shift from colony to nation. Where the Sydney Views once established early local self-reliance, the Kangaroo and Map series declared a unified Australian identity to the world, carrying letters under a single authority across vast distances. Those early, hand-printed colonial issues represented the first steps toward the modern country. These small pieces of paper prepaid postage while helping to build a nation, one letter at a time. If you love exploring the stories behind these historic stamps, subscribe to Stamp Vault for more philatelic history. Today, These tiny, hand-engraved windows still connect us to a time of immense isolation. Every imperfect line reminds us that before a nation existed, there was a human need to reach out across the distance. Subscribe to Stamp Vault for more incredible stories.